Okay, so today what we are going to do is we are going to first of all begin with setup and installation. It takes a little while to understand how setup is done, how installation is done. Now, when I say setup as in installation, the idea will not be only to just download an exe and install it, but we will also understand what is happening in the background. Okay, uh, let me show you few things with respect to what exactly is meant by installation, what happens, and I mean, of course, we all know that you download and maybe an executable file, you double click that executable file, and you begin the installation process by choosing path and all that. But there are few other things happening in the background which we will understand, and that is important to understand because once you dive deep into the Python scripting, when you want to work with different modules, how importing works, where are all your modules or packages stored, all this knowledge is going to come handy. Okay, so in order to explain to that concept to all of you, first of all, let me explain to you the concept of path and a class path environment variable. You can go to my website on the blogs here on the page number 4. I believe there is a blog here. So if you will go hello world, not this one, if you go to page number 3. Okay, so here there is a link or a blog which is introduction to path, class path, environment variable. Okay, now let's look at a quick definition of this one, and then we'll begin the installation process, and then I'll explain to you what exactly is the installation doing in our machines. Okay, so what is an environment variable? In case of this is for Windows, but it generally works same way for Linux and Mac, and I will explain that to you in some time. So environment variable is a dynamic object on a computer that stores a value which in turn can be referenced by one or more software programs in Windows. Now what is meant by that is, let me open a command prompt. For Mac it will be shell, a shell window or a terminal window. Okay, if you will go here, so for instance, let's say I go to this window and here I type Python and I hit enter. So it says that Python is not recognized as internal or external command, right? What it means is that Python is not installed. One thing, or second thing it could mean is that Python is installed, but it is not in this directory C users Naresh, right? I'm trying to execute a command from which directory? C users Naresh. So it cannot find that command. Either it is not here or it cannot find the location. Okay, but I have Python installed in my machine, and the location is let me go to that location. So just give me a minute. So if I will show you my machine installation directory D and Chorosia, then I'll go to Python apps. Here I have installed Python, and inside that there is Python this 3632, and do you see a Python exe here? So it means the Python is actually installed, but for some reason it did not find it there. Now what I will do, I will go to this directory here, and I will open a command prompt in this directory for myself where the Python is, and I'll type here Python and I'll hit enter. So it has changed uh, to this shell wherein I can now execute my Python commands. Means the Python is installed for me, right? So then why I could not, I'll exit this for now. So then why it could not find Python in the previous case is because when I executed the command Python here, it did not know where the Python is. At least it is not in this directory. Let me show it to you here. So I'll go to C, which was C users, right? It was users and Naresh, right? This is the folder. It does not have Python anywhere in this location. There is a .txt file, but it is not the exe Python exe file. Is it clear so far? Okay. So now what do I do? There is a concept of environment variables. What is an environment variable? If I go to my machine, so let me go to my machine here. So I'll go to PC. I'll go to properties. Okay, it brings up a window like this. In your case for Linux and Mac, I will explain it how it needs to be done. I'll go to advanced system setting. I'm doing it for Windows. I'll go to environment variable. Okay, here there is a environment variable called path. Can you see this? Now there is for user variable for Naresh is there and system variable is there. What is the difference between these two? The difference is that this Naresh is for a user who is logged in into my machine as Naresh, but system variable is for all the users can use these system variables. Okay, so I'll set the path here. Right now, if I edit it, you will see that I have already set that path here. Right, edit. If it was not there, oh sorry, this is Chrome. So okay, so I will what I will do is I will take that path, which is this path, the location of this one, right? It is here, and I'll copy this and I'll put it in my environment variable. So I will go back here, I will add a new environment variable and I will put it here. Okay, and I'll say okay. Now what I can also do is I'll just once again edit it and I can move it up if I want to. So for the time being, so that it is visible and apparent, I'm moving it up. Right, so what I have done is that I have told that location of Python is in this D drive in this particular location. Clear? Now what happens, I'll say let me first close this. Okay, and okay. Now I'll open a window for myself. Here I will, this is my new window. Okay, now if I use the existing window which I was using, which was this is the shell or command prompt which is already started before I set the environment variable. So even after setting, it will not find it. Are we clear on this? So I will close the old window here for myself and this is the new window. So what I can do, I can say echo percentage path percent. Okay, so percentage path percent, what it does, it will show you the value of environment variable called path. And I hit enter here, it will show this directory, right? Does it show that? Yes. Now because this entry is there, now if I run Python here, Python, I'm still in C users Naresh. Remember in the previous case, I was not able to run that command from this directory. But now if I run it, what will happen is, first it will look for this Python command in C users Naresh, and if it cannot find that, then what it will do? It will go and look for that command in environment variable. And in the environment variable, I have set the path where my Python exe file is. So it will go to that, it will not go to that directory, but it will execute that command from that location, and therefore I am able to successfully execute command Python from any location in my command prompt. So if I hit enter now, you will see that it is able to successfully execute that command from. Alright, are we clear on this one? So now what we are going to do is we are going to download Python and install it. So when you install it, as a part of installation, it automatically updates your path environment variable also, right? And therefore you are able to execute Python command from any directory of your choice. Okay, so in my case, actually if you will see, there was already an entry earlier. If I duplicate it, it does not make a difference, it will pick the first entry. But process of installation involves downloading exe and executing exe. What it does, it copies some files from exe into some folders, right? And then when you want to execute that command, you have to set environment variable path. Either you can set it manually, or while the installation is being done, it will be done for you. Okay, so next thing what we are going to do is we are going to download Python, the latest version of Python we will try to get, and we will try to install that. Okay, so for that what we can do is, just give me a minute. So if you want to install Python, I have sent a mail to all of you with a link, or you can directly go to download Python. Okay, and you can just go to this first link here and take the latest of Python. If you want to download Python, for Windows is there, Mac is there, Linux is there. Okay, so once you download it, uh, there will be a executable downloaded. Download it and execute it. Now remember one thing, uh, as a part of this course there are going to be number of downloads that we are going to do. So let's create a folder. Why we are creating folder? Because in future you will not recollect as to where you install your various software or Python. So as a good practice, what I will do is I will go here, new, I'll make Python classes. Okay, and here I can maybe install my Python and other things which I'm going to put. All of this will come here. Okay, so can you please do that? Download the exe and begin the installation process. And when it is asking for you the location of installation, please choose maybe Python classes or a folder of your choice, and avoid putting spaces in between that Python classes. So please do that. Okay, so I'm assuming that our installation is done. We are ready with installation of Python at least. Okay, and how do I verify it? I will go to my command prompt, and if I type, I can type python hyphen v. Okay, this has given a detailed report. I didn't need so much of the information. So if I say Python hyphen version, it will give me the, okay, it shows you the version of Python that got installed, right? Or even if you had done simply Python here, python, it would show you the version of Python which got installed on your machines. Can you please quickly try this command and let me know if you can find out your version? Now if you are able to do this, then if you go to your start menu, if you type IDLE, this is a basic editor which comes with Python. Okay, we are not going to use it a lot, but you should know that there is a basic editor which comes in Python. So can you please open this IDLE? If you go to start menu, you can start typing IDLE. You can find this basic editor. So I can say print, and I'll say hello world. Okay, and if I hit enter, it will, oh, print single quotes. Oh, I forgot to put closing code. So here I see hello world, right? So this is my basic editor, and just make sure that you are able to open this editor and execute print hello world. Let me know if you can do this. Okay, so I believe everybody is able to get up till this point. Okay, now ideally is a very basic editor. You can do pretty much a lot of things with ideally, but it is not an editor of choice. We are going to make use of PyCharm, which is very powerful. You will see once we get started. It has a lot of features to create projects and a lot of other things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also install PyCharm. The mail which I sent to you some time back had a link for PyCharm as well, right? Either you can take that link, or you can simply go to Google and say download PyCharm, and please download the community version. It's a free and open source. It is more than enough for what we have to do. Download it and install it. So can you please do that for me and let me know once you are done? So I'm hoping all of you have installed your PyCharm. What we will do now is you can open your PyCharm, and it will give you an option to create a project, right? Yeah. So please create a project of any name, a name of your choice, and you can say next and create the project. Let me know once you are done with that. So when you are creating your project, it will ask to set the path of interpreter, because interpreter is the one which interprets the Python program that you are going to write. So you can either set it now, or what I have done in my project, if I go to file, if I go to uh, settings here, I have a choice to do it later on as well. Here in the project, I choose the project interpreter. So I hope you people remember where you installed your Python, right? It must be a C drive or something. In your case, I will just tell you. So if you will see, I have given D and Chorosia Python app Python up till python.exe. That is my interpreter. So please set that particular location and then continue with creation of your project. Okay, so I am assuming that all of us have got a project ready. Now I already have the project in place for myself. So as a good practice, what I generally do is we'll go to the concept of packaging later on, but I want to make sure that today what I'm coding, I'm going to put it in a folder. So what I'll do is I'll right click on my project one, I'll say new, and I'll create a directory, and I'll say uh, class one or whatever you want to call it, yeah, or first class or whatever. So I'll call it first class for myself, first class or class 1, whichever you like, class 1, so that I know that today this is what I have covered. I mean, we are just trying to organize our files in such a way that when a lot of classes are done, you know where is what. Okay, so that's pretty much it to get started with Python programming. So let's look at some coding now. Now how are we going to start this is that okay, so this is how we are going to start with this one. We have seen an ideally it's a basic shell or interactive shell, which stands for integrated development and learning environment. You can do pretty much a lot of things here with the ideally, but PyCharm seems to be a better choice where it is more powerful. You have a lot of features which you will see. So we have done print hello world. Now let's get started with Python operators. What is Python operators? We can do what is an operator? Operators lets you do some operations, right? So we have different operators. If you use exponent sign, 2 star, it is to the power. Modulus operator where you get remainder. Divide by, this is a quotient, this is division, multiplication, subtraction. So let's try 2 3 of this. So let's say I will start with addition. Okay, so hello world we have already seen, so I'll go here and I'll create a new file. I'll call it as a Python file and I'll say addition or oprators, right? So you can right click on that class which you created, you say new and click on Python file. Can you do it for me? Yes. So once you do that, I'm going to call this file as operators or operations or whatever you want to call it. Operators I'm going to call it, and I'll say okay. So I'll have this inside this, I'll have this file here with an extension .py. So if you will see, I'm just doing addition of two simple integers here, and I'm displaying the value which is coming as 30. Now can you please try maybe a few more here, maybe exponent or subtraction or multiplication by yourself. I'll let you try maybe 2 3 of this before I move on to next thing. Now, having got our hands dirty with coding, we will look at some more things. Now, this is an integers, right? These are floating point and these are strings. In Java, anything which is in single quotes or double quotes is treated as a string, right? Now, what you can do, if you print hello world and if you leave that single quote at the end, it will give you syntax error. EOL while scanning string literal, because while it was reading the string literal, it did not find the closing bracket. Sorry, closing single quote there, right? Like for example, if you put a mismatch the quotes, it will be a problem. So if you try this out, let me go back here. Um, so I'll say I'm deliberately creating an error code. So here I'll say print single quote, HELLO, and I'll remove this closing single quote. If I run it, it shows me same error, right? Syntax error, end of line while scanning string return, right? So these are some things you will have to remember as you move on to programming. Now there is a concept of string concatenation in Python. So you can add string 1 and string 2. So let's say I will create another file and I'll call it string concatenation. Why I'm creating individual files? So that in future when you want to come back and revisit this concept, it's easy for you to remember where you have put what kind of code. Okay, steering con cat I will call it. So I can say v1 equals to, let's say, uh, Py, Python, and then I can say, okay, so I'll call it v1 here, and I can say v2 equal to SERIPTING, right? Now if I want to display it, I will say print of v1 plus of v2, right? So v1 plus of v2. So you are doing string concatenation, you are combining two strings. So I PTI and scripting, right? So if I run it, uh, it will show Python scripting. If you want to put a space here, put a space here and say run it again, so that it is more readable, right? So these are few tricks you can play around with. Now there is a concept of replication. Now before we do the replication, you cannot add string to a number for an obvious reason, that one is an integer and what is a string. So let's say I define here integer, sorry, not integer, we don't define integers in Python. So I'll say v3 equal to 10, right? Now I cannot say v1 plus v3 here. Why? Because it is a string, or sorry, it is an integer. But if you want to still perform this operation, there is a concept of inbuilt functions in Java. It is not a concept, but there are some inbuilt functions in Java to convert it into str, open bracket, close bracket. So it will convert that integer to string and then I can append it. Is it clear? So I'll right click and run this code, and here I see Python 10, right? One more example I will give you to show to you, and then you can try yourself. So let's say I say print of v1 into 5. Sorry, it's not plus, it is into 5. So what happens? Let's see. Right click, run as. So can you see 5 times replication is happening, meaning that that string is getting printed so many times into 5 times, right? So can you please try all these things? Okay, so what is this str? It is a list of built-in functions. Let me show you that list. So if you will go here, just 1 minute. Okay, so this is a list of built-in functions. One of them is if you will see SSPQR STR, it's there, right? So I'm sharing this link with all of you on your mail. Please have a look at that, and it has this list of functions. So let me even open it here so that you can see it. So this is an official documentation of Python. If you will go here, built-in functions, these are all the built-in functions. So please feel free to refer to this particular link. So we will revisit all most of it as we move along, but for now we just looked at basic use. So how you can do, what objects you can pass, and different things that you can do with this. We will come back to all this later on. Okay, but for now let's just play around with some basic operations.